relocate to Cleveland, I think he's going to become a Cleveland Cavalier.
We'll talk about that later.
We're not talking about LeBron James going to Cleveland. You can quit that. Speaking of LeBron James, Game 6, Miami Heat, Indiana Pacers, back in Indiana tonight. And to get psyched up for this, I watched a 30 for 30 on Reggie Miller and the Indiana Pacers. That's a great 30 for 30.
The one against Spike Lee.
Oh,
Awesome.
yeah. Oh, it's a great 30 for 30. But the Pacers tonight, trying to extend the Eastern Conference Finals to Game 7 back in Miami. Birdman suspended for the game.
Not a surprise.
You know what I knew it was going to happen? When David Stern, about an hour and a half before the league announced that he's been suspended, gives an interview to NBC Sports Radio, and NBC Sports Radio was playing it, and David Stern said he should have been thrown out of the game, but we took a look at it, and we've decided some things.
Yeah. I knew that he was going to get suspended when he didn't get thrown out of the game.
He should have been ejected
The
from
only
the game.
thing that made that different from the LeBron-Muhammad situation was LeBron flopped and fell on the ground.
Right, that's the only...
And he got ejected.
And Muhammad was ejected, but then he didn't get suspended. And if Birdman had got ejected, he wouldn't have got suspended. He would be able to play. And let's be honest, the Heat didn't need Birdman in the second half of Game 5.
Well, I mean, they used that two big men down low thing whole third quarter.
They had the only Heat player that matters, Udonis Haslem.
Udonis has really been stepping it up, though.
Udonis,
proud of the old man.
He's going to get more minutes now.
Yes. Well, I don't know if he can handle more minutes with those old legs. But
everybody says he's old. He's only been in the league 11 years.
Only? What do you mean?
LeBron's been in the league, 9 years?
Yeah, I guess you're
Kobe's
right.
been in the league 16 years. Tim Duncan's been in the league since the 50s, I think.
I don't know. Udonis just looks a little older.
He's not, though. He's really
not. A little slower.
And you know what?
A little more lethargic.
No, see, you don't remember because you were a little kid then. And you really didn't care about
I remember
Udonis
playing at Florida.
You really didn't care about Gator basketball.
I remember that.
But he was a fat kid. He wasn't the slim, trim Udonis that he is now. Trust me.
I still wouldn't call him slim trim now.
Compared to what he was in college, he's stealth. I literally, with my own eyes, witnessed him on more than a few times, eat a 16-inch mellow mushroom pizza by himself. Okay?
Yeah, he did look a little chubbier back then.
Not because he looked it, he was. I know him personally. He used to come. He did security for me, working the front door for me at Mellow Mushroom when we'd have bands. Him and Travis Carroll, linebacker that played for Florida. And Udonis would, for payment, Udonis would get
Pizza.
some money, and he'd get pizza. And he'd eat a 16-inch pie by himself.
I'm glad that he got rid of the cornrows.
That was not a good look.
No, it wasn't. He had those forever, though.
But Udonis Haslem,
he just got too old for
16 points on 8 of 9 shooting in Game 5. The Birdman being suspended, I don't think that's really going to... All that's going to do is mean Joel Anthony gets to play a little more defense.
No, Joel Anthony will not play. That means Chris Bosh is going to have to step it up a little bit, play more minutes, get more rebounds.
Hello, Chris Bosh. Game 6, it's in Indiana. Please get on the plane. We don't know where you've been since the Chicago series ended. Will you please show up? They're paying you to play basketball. Could you make an appearance in these playoffs, please?
The Big Three's kind of turned into...
The Big Three's the big LeBron. 1 and an eighth.
Yeah.
And the eighth is Dwayne Wade. He's an eighth of what he used to be. Chris Bosh had, what did he have the other night? He finally got 5 rebounds, and that like doubled his rebound total for this entire series.
I think he has between 15 and 18 rebounds for the whole 5 games. Which is not something you want your power... You want your power forward to be getting...
He's not a power forward. Look at the program. It says center.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's definitely not that.
No. But for the Miami Heat to win tonight, and by the way, everybody, Indiana's good at home, but Miami's 5-1 on the road in the playoffs.
And Miami did already win at home.
They've already won.
Or they already won in Indiana.
Right, in Indiana. And Miami, hey, they're on the street. What are they like? 48-6 or something since they started their 27-game streak or something. It's something ridiculous.
I believe it's 6 losses.
Right, they're like 48-6.
Yeah, since like, I don't know, February or March or something.
How crazy is that? In 54 games, they're 48-6.
And they could lose this series.
And they still could lose the series. But, yes, Indiana has a chance to win this series. But you being the NBA guy of this group, do you really see that happening?
No, and like Buddy's been saying, 83% of the time when a team wins Game 5, when it's tied 2-2, you're going to win. They might not win tonight. It's going to be in Indiana. But they're not going to lose 2 games in a row. They haven't lost 2 games in a row since December. It's not going to happen. LeBron's not going to let that happen. With or without Birdman, I don't think he's, an integral part of what they really have going on. He was good to get the whole team hyped up after he decided to punk Tyler Hansbrough. But besides that, he didn't really do much. He has been perfect from the field.
18 for 18.
I think it's 14 for 14.
18 for 18.
Okay. Which, still not that many shots.
No. Not at all. But, when I looked at what he had done for the playoffs.
He's 15 for 15 from the floor in the series. Has made his last 18 shots overall.
Right. He's 18 for 18 the last 18 shots
Going back to
taken.
Chicago.
Right. And he's like 36 for 42.
All dunks, basically.
Well, of course they are. He had one jump shot in Game 5. But when you think about that, he's 15 for 15 this series, that's 30 points.
Yeah. And, add on what Haslam's been giving them.
Right.
And then look at the lack of scoring by Wade. They need somebody else besides LeBron, and they're getting it from their big men right now.
That's my point that I want to make, is the reason the Heat are in the middle of this hard series is because they have nothing from Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh.
No, they're non-existent, and that's exactly why.
If they both chip in 15 points apiece, the Pacers were done in 4 games.
And Chris Bosh, or Dwayne Wade, not only has been misses every single shot he can't throw in the ocean, he's bad every single time down the floor when it comes to offensive possessions. He will jack up shots way too early in the shot clock when you can't throw in the ocean. Why are you doing that? Makes no sense. He turns the ball over a lot, always tries to draw those fouls. It's not working out for you, man. They're not calling them for you anymore. So, suck it up.
Dick Bavetta not in the league anymore, helping you out, Dwayne Wade.
It annoys me how much he goes to the basket and asks for foul. It's worse than LeBron.
That's why everybody still says, even though Indiana's in this thing, that they're not really in it, because as soon as Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh decide to show up for a basketball game, it's going to be over.
Listen, we've all been watching Dwayne Wade play in the playoffs. He has his quarters every once in a while, a nice quarter here, nice quarter there. But he doesn't keep it going. He can't keep it going for a whole game. He can't even keep it going for a whole half. It's not going to be. He's not going to just suddenly have such a breakout game. I don't think he is, and especially not if they get to the NBA Finals.
Mario Chalmers is more important to this team right now than Dwayne Wade is.
Mario Chalmers is definitely. The big men definitely are. Dwayne Wade can't really do anything right now. He can't cut to the basket. He can't make shots. He turns the ball over. He's not a great defender.
So
he's just there because he's. Miami Heat through and through. That's
so you're
their
saying
franchise guy.
So is J.J. LaSalva on the record for saying sit Dwayne Wade?
I think he should play less minutes. Obviously, he should start because there's not going to be anybody off. Battier's made 2 shots in all of the series.
Ray Allen.
That's what I'm saying. He hasn't done anything either.
Ray Allen collects a check from the Heat and a check from the Social Security Department.
Yeah. He hasn't been playing well. He doesn't get a lot of time in the games, but. You can pick any player on Miami besides LeBron, Haslam, and Anderson and say they're struggling. They're playing like crap.
With LeBron's assist and points made, he accounts for 48.3% of all the Heat scoring.
And that shouldn't be like that on a team called the Big Three. You know?
You shouldn't have one guy scoring that's responsible through his scoring and assist of being the part of almost 50% of your point total.
And that's exactly what LeBron was doing back in his Cleveland days.
Which is why he doesn't need to go back to Cleveland. He's already doing that in Miami. So enough of the discussion about going to Cleveland. All right, we're going to take a break.
You're going to call me in a year from now.
Well, he's not going to Cleveland.
And apologize.
We're going to take a break. When we come back, hopefully someone will have reached Chris Bosh by phone and tell him there's a game in Indiana tonight. 8:30. Is it on ABC or TNT? What's it on tonight? I know it's on ESPN Radio. But
TNT.
TNT, 8:30 tonight. When we come back, softball and baseball, the University of Florida, bad news on both fronts. Plus, how's Tiger doing at the Memorial? And B.J. Upton.
My boy.
Boy, Tampa's glad he isn't with the Rays anymore. But before we get all of that, we're going to replay Mark Long talking from the SEC meetings in Destin, Florida. All that next on Buddy Saturday Sports Page, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, streaming live at WOCA.com. The Source.
Hi, this is Buddy Martin for WinStar Medical Research. Every day we hear another story about innovation or about the cutting edge of technology taking place right here in Ocala. The power plant, IHMC, Ocala 489. But did you know that important medical research is also being conducted here that will impact hundreds of thousands of people in the country someday? Maybe you've heard the name WinStar, but like so many others, perhaps you didn't realize WinStar Medical Research is one of the top facilities of its kind anywhere in the U.S. There are important studies being conducted by a highly qualified team of medical experts at WinStar, impacting decisions of major pharmaceutical companies and bringing new drugs to market. And you can be a part of these studies, as so many local people are right now. WinStar has conducted more than 500 studies since its inception and would like to extend an opportunity to you to be a part of these. Call 877-629-5800 or 352-629-5800 if you'd like to know more. WinStar Medical Research, locally owned and operated in beautiful downtown Ocala. WinStar, seeking tomorrow's answers to the health questions of today.
Hi, I'm Tom Ingram, CEO of Gateway Bank, inviting you to drop by our main office on Silver Springs Boulevard every Friday from 3 to 6 p.m. for the Community Gazette, a 3-hour show focusing on our favorite community to live and work, Ocala, Marion County. Come join us with the voice of Ocala, Buddy Martin, in the new old-fashioned bank radio studio as we discuss a variety of interesting topics on the Community Gazette on WOCA, The Source.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And so is State Farm agent Angie Lewis, working hard to serve her community as a citizen and insurance agent. Angie wants to help you as you adjust your insurance needs to your life, from everything to helping educate your teen driver to protecting your family against everyday risk. She wants to change the way you perceive insurance by developing relationships with her clients, which is why Angie and her staff are proud to be a part of so many good causes in Ocala. In turn, she has chosen to single out those who step up as leaders. Each month on The Voice of Ocala, Angie spotlights a good neighbor, saluting those who give exceptional service or do random acts of kindness to others. For this, Angie was written up in State Farm's National Magazine. Angie also supports local businesses with a regular Biz Buzz. The Angie Lewis State Farm Agency is located at 1122 Northeast 36th Avenue, where visitors are always welcome and the coffee pot is always on. Call your good neighbor's State Farm agent today, Angie Lewis, at 294-2444.
This is Don with ABC Fredericks Appliance. Here's my daughter, Lena.
And hey everybody, it's Lena. You need to come down to ABC Fredericks Appliance on County Road 25, just over the railroad tracks in Bellevue, where you are treated right with the right products like Whirlpool, Maytag, Crosley, and Speed Queen. These are the new ones. Don't forget, we also carry used appliances that we warranty. ABC Fredericks Appliance does repairs too. Call us at 629-5181. ABC Fredericks Appliance on County Road 25, just over the railroad tracks in Bellevue. It's at 629-5181.
WOCA, Ocala.
Just keep getting me down, lost my money playing poker, so I have to leave town. But I ain't turning back to living that old life no more. So rock me, mama, like a wagon wheel. Rock me, mama, any way you feel. Hey, mama, rock me.
We're back. Buddy Saturday Sports Page. I'm your host, Tom Schmitz. Joined by J.J. LaSalle. But, J.J., the SEC meeting's going on in Sandestin Golf and Beach Resort. The news out of the SEC meetings?
Sandestin or Destin, Tom?
Sandestin. It's right next to Destin.
Okay. Let's get that
news
cleared
out
up.
of there. They have decided to keep the 8-game schedule
Through 2015.
through 2015.
2016 is up for...
The only holdout, Nick Saban. And I think I agree with Nick Saban this time.
He wants the 9-game SEC schedule.
He wants a 9-game SEC schedule.
So why do you agree with him?
Because if you don't play the 9 SEC, you're still going to have to, you're not going to be able to play Toledo and Georgia Southern and Appalachian State and, you know, you're not going to be able to play
the way
the Savannah
that everybody
States.
else looks at it is they already have to play so many tough schools in their conference.
You're going to have to play a tough school out of your conference. You either take the 9-game SEC schedule or you put a California or a Texas or a Stanford or an Ohio State. You got to put
this
you
year,
got to put
there's Georgia, Clemson to start the season.
right. You have to have Clemson. You have to have games like that because of
now
how,
they have
how the playoffs go.
Yeah, now they have people that are picking.
Right.
You know?
So
It's not like computers.
If let's say Florida's got one loss, and Ohio State's got one loss, and Ohio State's out of conference games were against Texas and Oregon, and Florida's out of conference games were against Toledo, Florida State and Georgia Southern, because that's who they play this year. They play Georgia Southern, Toledo, and Florida State. If I'm a voter,
right.
Ohio State's going to national championship game over Florida. So you're going to stop having to play patty cakes. And if you're going to do that, why make it a team outside of your conference? Why not keep the money inside your conference?
Good point.
So I think Nick Saban's right on this one. But Mark Long was there in Sandestin during these meetings, and he stopped by the show earlier this week. Let's hear what Mark Long had to say about the SEC meetings in Sandestin, Florida.
Hey, everybody. How you doing?
Good. Was that your story read on ESPN just now? AP story about famous things that Spurrier has said?
Yeah, I mean, it was basically, the whole story stems from, the Tim Davis,
Right.
Nick Saban comments. James Franklin also called Nick Saban Little Nicky earlier this year. Nicky Satan earlier this year. So,
Right.
So it was basically a story of how all these SEC coaches are now very wary of public speaking and saying anything, that's going to get tweeted out 1,000 times or blown up beyond what it used to be, which was, these things used to be, these Gator Booster meetings and whatnot used to be great for head coaches to come in and tell jokes to their faithful followers and, and have a little fun now. And Spurrier was the king of that. That's, Free Shoes University for Florida State. Can't spell citrus without UT. So even Spurrier admits things have changed, but he thinks you can still have some fun. It's just a matter of what you say. And he's probably right there in terms of using devil or Satan analogies. That's probably, well, it's not even probably, that's definitely over the line compared to what you can and can't say.
So if I read your story right, there's a quote from him. He's actually saying that the citrus in UT was an original from him, huh?
Yeah, he's taken full credit. He actually said Free Shoes University was not his original joke. He got that from somebody else and used it.
You know who it was?
Citrus and UT was his original.
Right. Do you know who he got it from?
I'm going to guess you.
No.
Oh,
Mike
okay.
Bianchi claims it was him.
Mike? Oh, wow, okay. Well,
He claims that was his. Yeah.
It might be. Well, Steve didn't say who. He just said it wasn't original. But he said UT and Citrus was original, and he's very proud of that.
Well, yeah, that's pretty harmless, compared to saying somebody's the devil, although they call Spurrier the devil, too. Yeah, I mean, the fun is gone out of that anymore. And now, if you say anything, certainly Gordon Gee found that out today, the president of Ohio State University, his statement about Catholics and the SEC. I'm not sure which ones he offended most. So.
Exactly, and Louisville and all those.
Yeah.
And this is exactly what I was talking about in the story. You just can't say anything now, even if you're trying to make a joke and you're talking to people, your peers, all of whom might laugh or do laugh. You still just can't get away with it because guess what? It's going to end up. It's going to leak. Somebody's going to have a video of it or a recording of it. and somebody's going to tweet something about it, and you just can't escape it. And that's not the case, 20 years ago, if all you had to do was convince, 2 or 3 writers that, I was just a joke kind of thing like that, and, get them to not write about it, it would kind of disappear. But nowadays that's not the case with blogs and Twitter and all kinds of things like that.
Will Muschamp had to say something about the Tim Davis incident, because you knew that minute that came out, calling Saban the devil himself, that was not going to fly very well. And obviously Foley, Jeremy Foley, had to write a letter of apology as well. I don't think Tim Davis has really earned that ability to do that just yet on that staff. And I think he got braced for that, So
yeah, I am still a little surprised, buddy, that Tim Davis hasn't tried to or actually apologized to Nick Saban. I mean, this is a guy who worked for him, with the Dolphins and at Alabama, at LSU, and so he's worked with the guys, So I'm just a little surprised that Tim Davis wouldn't at least pick up the phone to some degree.
Well, maybe he did. Maybe he did do that. Do you know that he didn't?
I mean, you got 3 people saying, Jeremy Foley, Will Muschamp, and Nick Saban all say that the only people who have apologized right now so far are Jeremy and Will Muschamp.
Well, you're the reporter on the scene. You would know that for sure. Let's talk about something kind of semi-serious, although it's more fun to talk about the fun things. The scheduling issues. This is something that the SEC comes into Destin. They got issues with the fact that 9 teams reportedly dropped in attendance in the SEC, which is phenomenal. You can think about that. And they're talking about an 8-game schedule, 9-game schedule. Foley saying yesterday that if he had to, he'd drop Miami, or didn't have on the schedule, but he'd always keep Florida State. What are they saying about the schedule out there right now?
Yeah, I mean, they took a vote, the coaches, yesterday, and that thing it was 13-1. 13 coaches voted in favor of keeping an 8-game SEC schedule. 1 coach, Nick Saban, voting to increase it to a 9-game SEC schedule. The league here, meanwhile, is basically saying we don't necessarily have to go to 9, but what we have to do is eliminate those 4 non-conference games being complete duds. And if you look at Mississippi State the last few years, they're the number 1 violator of this, of having 4 complete duds on the schedule. And if you look at Texas A&M next year, this upcoming season, they've got 4 complete duds on the schedule, games that fans aren't going to want to go to. And so Nick Saban came in with the idea of, hey, look, eventually people are going to stop going to these games. You can sit at home for free, watch it on television, comfort of your home, and great, amazing HD television, and he says you're not missing a whole lot in a 49-2 game or whatever the final score is. And he's absolutely right. And he says, if you increase the schedule to 9 games and make everybody play 9 conference games, you're automatically eliminating one of those, 1AA opponents or whatever it is. And he's right, but the rest of the coaches don't agree, and here's the difference. Nick Saban's looking at this from a perspective of, he doesn't, it's about getting to the national title game. It's about having a strong strength of schedule and a strong resume so that when we go to this playoff next year that, Alabama's sitting there looking pretty, as opposed to all these other schools are looking at this as, hey, listen, we got to get bowl eligible. And it certainly doesn't help us to add an SEC game to get bowl eligible. And there's a lot of teams in that position: Mississippi State, Kentucky, Vanderbilt. All those teams and a few more, Missouri for that matter. The number 1 priority for them is get to a bowl. They're not looking at winning a national title. They realize that their program is not on that level. So again, that's why this thing's not getting the support. 9 game schedule is not getting the support that Nick Saban and some other people want to see.
I can understand that completely. I mean, that you be careful what you wish for. Just like they wish for this big fat contract with ESPN, which they got, and the money they're making on these schools are. And by the same token, because there's so many games on TV in HD, people aren't going to want to go to the games. That's why attendance is down, as you said, and Saban knows that. It didn't take a genius to figure that part out. So I think overall the fan base has eroded a little bit, at least the paying fan base, but they can get it for free. And these tickets are not cheap, Mark, as you know. So the question becomes, is it sort of a false statistic that attendance is down if ratings are up in TV and they're getting just as much money or more from TV than they would be the fans?
Yeah, I mean, it's a chicken and the egg thing. You're absolutely right that attendance is down, but ratings are up. And that is exactly what it is. It's people not wanting to go to the games because it's so expensive, and also because they can sit at home and watch it for free. And then the quality of the opponents, which, we moved to this 12-game regular season schedule. When we moved to that, the whole promise behind that was, well, this is going to set up, Florida to play Miami more often, or set up those kind of matchups. And the reality is, most of the SEC has not done that. There's been it's been few and far between. Even Florida, for that matter, they've only played Miami in 2008, and then everything else has been a home game. They're not going on the road, home and home with Oklahoma. They're not setting up home and home with Notre Dame. And we all get why they do it, and certainly the Florida-Georgia rivalry in Jacksonville makes it a little more difficult for both of those teams to schedule home and homes. But, it's not what we were promised as a fan. As a fan of college football, we were thinking this was going to lead to these awesome matchups, and it just hasn't. So, I think that's part of it, and, I think they're going to try to do something about it. We'll see how it works. The bottom line here is TV is going to dictate this thing. No. The SEC network, which is, partnering with ESPN, they've paid a ton of money to these schools, and they're not going to allow for Georgia versus Georgia State. They're not going to allow for that kind of matchup. They want Georgia, Oklahoma. They want Florida. They'll take Georgia versus Ole Miss. They'll take the 9-game schedule because that's good in their minds. That's good, much better than Florida versus Middle Tennessee State.
Yeah, but with the SEC network, we're getting to see Paul Feinbaum's ears. So I'm sorry, that was probably a cheap shot. Final question from Mark Long of the AP, and that is, Steve Spurrier today named by Governor Scott as a great Floridian. Will he be named a great Tennessean and great South Carolinian and get the hat trick of the greatness? I don't know. What do you think?
Well, assuming those states have those designations, I think he should. He certainly has been one of Tennessee's, one of their better college football faces of college football, over the years. And then what he's done at South Carolina, back-to-back 10-win seasons, never happened in school history, and then Steve does it. And he's going to have that team's going to, is poised for another big year this year. And, it would not stun me at all if he pulled the trifecta.
Plus, you get to write about his quotes 10 years after they happen, which is always cool. So the guy's good, right?
That's his quotes will never get old.
They won't.
And will always be funny to me, you, and probably everybody else.
I agree. Thanks a lot for the time, and appreciate your conversation, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Okay, anytime, buddy.
That was Mark Long of the Associated Press. Live from it wasn't live. That was a tape of it. But it was from Sandestin earlier this week. If Steve Spurrier stops doing the little quotes and everything, like the coaches say they're going to try to stop, it'll just take some fun out of college football.
A lot of fun.
A lot of fun. We're going to take a break. When we come back, Tiger Woods, how's he doing at the Memorial? Plus Gator women's and men's baseball and softball, both in bad situations yesterday. And B.J. Upton may be on the move. Plus some sad news about an NBA veteran, retired NBA player. And real quick, program note, Steve Cole Smith will be co-hosting the nationally syndicated radio show Hot Rod Magazine with Alan Taylor, live from these studios right here at the WOCA studios today from 4 to 6 p.m. So a nationally syndicated radio show, Hot Rod Magazine with Alan Taylor. Steve Cole Smith, we're in studio today at WOCA hosting that national show from 4 to 6 p.m. We're going to take a break. When we come back, more on what's going on in the world of sports on Buddy Saturday Sports Page, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, streaming live at WOCA.com. The Source.
Hi, this is Buddy Martin. I want to tell you about a conversation I had recently with General Manager Pat Murray on the great family atmosphere at Country Club of Ocala.
It's a family-first club. Again, we have any number of different types of memberships, but obviously the one that attracts the greatest level of interest is our family. And the reason for that is we have a little something for everybody. I mean, we obviously have a world-class golf course. We have 7 tennis courts here for all levels of tennis players. We have a junior Olympic-sized swimming pool. We have a fitness center that's second to none. We have state-of-the-art equipment in our fitness center.
Country Club of Ocala, where the facilities are all a family would ever need. For more information, call today at 352-237-6644. That's 352-237-6644. Country Club of Ocala, proud sponsor of Monday's Gator Report and Gator Talk Thursday right here on The Source. Since 1976, Daniel L. Hightower, a lawyer, has been fighting for accident victim justice in North Central Florida and statewide. He believes everyone in America should follow the rules, including the insurance companies. He and his firm had experience fighting for victims of personal injury, wrongful death, workers' compensation, and Social Security disability, as well as serving those in need of help with bankruptcy, simple wills, and estate plans. The mission at the law offices of Daniel L. Hightower, PA, is to represent deserving clients and recover the maximum benefits they are entitled to by law in a timely manner. In personal injury and workers' compensation cases, there are no fees or costs unless a recovery is made. The law office of Daniel L. Hightower is located at 7 East Silver Springs Boulevard, Suite 300. For your free consultation, call 352-629-7777 or 1-888-LAW-1976 and visit danhightower.com for more information. Daniel L. Hightower, PA lawyer, fighting for accident victim justice, and the proud sponsor of Ask the Cops.
Hello all, Joe Martone here for Karaoke Time. You hear me each morning for the segment of Fun with Joe? Well, fun is what I do. So the next time you want to have a get-together, for just about any reason, give me a call. 470-0276 for Karaoke Time. That number is 470-0276. Everybody likes to sing, and with the words on the screen, it's just that much easier. Call Karaoke Time, 470-0276 for the next event, big or small. Karaoke Time can keep the fun in your business, too.
Stay informed on everything going on in the Villages with the Village Spectator newspaper. The Village Spectator is exclusively devoted to the Villages with news, commentary, and more. And yes, they have Tom's Picks, a free referral for people who are looking for a company to do work for them. Tom's Picks will refer the company that fits your needs, and all we ask is that you tell them where you heard about them. Call Tom's Picks at 804-1223 and pick up your copy of the Village Spectator today.
Now read Ocala Downtown newspaper online.
1370 WOCA.
We're back on Buddy Saturday Sports Page. Time to switch gears and talk a little college playoffs. College World Series, the regionals are going on for baseball to see who qualifies for the College World Series. A lot of number 2 seeds yesterday took losses against number 3 seeds.
Florida's actually a 3 seed.
But a lot of number 2s lost yesterday to number 3 seeds. One of the 3 seeds that didn't beat a 2 seed, the University of Florida, JJ.
Yes. And they actually had to lead up until around the end of the game, the 8th
Bottom
inning.
of the 8th.
Justin Schaefer had a 3-run home run in the 6th inning for Florida. Give them a 3-1 lead. They took their starting pitcher out, and Austin P., who obviously not known for their athletic programs, actually was number 2 seeded in this regional.
You have no idea anything about Austin
No.
PD.
I know they're in Texas.
Yeah, I played them in football. They were pretty good 1AA football program.
Exactly. They're the Governors. I know that.
Right, but they're a pretty good baseball program.
Yes, and they defeated number 3 seeded Florida Gators last night. So now the Gators face elimination today against Valpo. I know a little bit about Valpo.
Valpo's the 4 seed.
Correct.
Who lost to Indiana last night on a walk-off home run in the 9th.
So Florida has to win that game. It's double elimination in these, so
Florida
they have to win that
can't lose
game,
anymore.
and they have to play 2 more times tomorrow. It looks like they're probably done. Taking a first-day loss is never good. Florida State won 10-0 against Savannah State yesterday, and Miami won 7-0 yesterday. So FAU lost, but besides that, it was a pretty good day. Miami beat Oklahoma State.
Another team facing elimination, the Florida Gator women's softball team. They're in an elimination game against Nebraska. Florida Gator women a little harrowing danger last night. The NCAA postponed Friday night's games at the Women's College World Series until Saturday because of severe weather in Oklahoma City. A storm dropped tornadoes in Oklahoma City's western suburbs, barreled towards the state's largest city. Cameras broadcast the approach of these storms on it. Funnels, this is not ever a good thing. Funnels of various sizes touched the ground south of El Reno, 25 miles west of Oklahoma City. At other times, the funnel clouds remained aloft. Anytime you use the word funnels, plural, touchdown, that's not a good thing. State police actually conducted rolling roadblocks to prevent motorists from driving into the storm. What? People aren't smart enough to see coming down the interstate this tornado. I might not need to drive towards it.
Well, there's storm chasing people, man.
So the two elimination games
Paxton.
that have been the two elimination games that were scheduled for last night will be tonight. Florida against Nebraska, Michigan against Arizona State. This is the College World Series for softball. This is not a regional. These are the final 8 teams.
Right.
Florida, with a team they were picked 7th in the SEC this year, ends up winning the SEC. Had a great season with a bunch of freshmen. So things are looking up for the Florida women, except for an area that's already been ravaged by tornadoes is on alert again for tornadoes. It's a sad situation in Oklahoma.
Yeah, that area is just getting destroyed, man.
Sad
move.
situation. Speaking of getting destroyed, Tiger Woods yesterday let his round get destroyed with a 3-putt double bogey on 15. Shot a 74 yesterday. He's 1 over. 10 strokes off the lead in the tournament he won last year. Do you give Tiger Woods any shot at winning this tournament, JJ?
No, not at all. But I think what everybody really cares about is how he's going to do in the U.S. Open in a few weeks. Isn't it a few weeks?
Yes.
Okay.
Father's Day weekend.
Yeah, the 16th, I think, is the final round. But obviously he's struggling. He made the cut. What is he? 7 shots or 11 shots off the lead, I think. He's not going to win this. He's 1 over. He's through 1 today, actually. He's already started his round.
Right. Can I tell you the best stat, though? Roy McIlroy shoots 78 on Thursday, comes back with a 69 yesterday, makes the cut.
Dang, by 1 stroke. Cut line was at 3 over. That's exactly where he was, with Mike Weir.
But that's battling back. When you shoot a 78 to open a tournament, a lot of people just pack it in and go into the house.
Like, you got no shot. He's like, I want this paycheck.
Shoots 69, shoots 3 under yesterday to get back to 3 over.
Rory's so inconsistent, man. That's why we'll never be able to, call him great. I know he won a major. He competes a lot at a high level, but he either seems to compete till the final round or just not even make the cut at all.
Right.
You can't miss that many cuts and be considered a great golfer.
Named a great Floridian yesterday, Bubba Watson.
Was he?
6 under, 3 off the lead.
From Baghdad.
You didn't listen to the show yesterday, JJ? We talked about the great Floridians, and Bubba Watson was one of them.
Okay. I remember Spurrier.
3 strokes off the lead. There's that name again. Bubba Watson tied with Matt Kuchar. 3 strokes back. Kuchar seems to always be at the top of the leaderboard.
Schwartzel, too. He's one of those guys.
Charles Schwartzel, 8 under. Bill Haas leading the tournament at 9 under. And yes, folks, sadly, Ted Potter Jr. shot 74-76 to miss the cut.
Did have a good payday last week. I think he got about $40-something thousand.
Let me tell you what his stats are for the year. He's doing pretty well for the year. I think he's in the right around a half a million.
83 on the money list. He's made $571,000.
Yeah, I knew it was right around $500,000.
So I'll take that all day.
And he'll be.
He's played in 15 total events. Made 8 cuts. Made 1 top 10.
Not
his
qualified,
average is 71, so right below par.
Has not qualified for the Open yet.
For the U.S. Open?
Yeah, has not qualified. He played in it last year.
I just assumed that when you win the Greenbrier that qualifies you for all of them.
No, played in it last year. not qualified to play in it yet this year.
Well, that stinks.
But he's still got time, couple 3 weeks. So Tiger Woods, though, struggling at the Memorial. Bill Haas, your leader, at 9 under. Charles Schwartzel right off the lead. And Matt Kuchar and Bubba Watson, a great Floridian, Bubba Watson, 3 strokes back.
Oh, actually, Teddy Potter Jr. last week made $86,000. Finished 18th the week before that. Finished 27th, made $46,000.
So he made $130,000
this week.
Made $130,000 last 2 weeks.
Yeah,
I'll take that job.
Yeah.
I'll take that job. We're going to take a break. When we come back, where's B.J. Upton headed? If Freddie Gonzalez has his way, you'd be surprised where he's going. And then a sad, sad story out of Atlanta. Mookie Blaylock. We'll tell you about that. And then, are you kidding me? I'm mad at the NHL again. All that coming up on Buddy Saturday Sports Page, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, streaming live at WOCA.com. The Source.
Requires bank approval. Vehicle purchase process effects trade allowance.
Mayday! Mayday! Our buyer blew it. He ordered 38 cars instead of 8. And now we have got way too much inventory.
Hey, this is Chris Spears from Prestige Auto Sales. I've got to sell these 30 cars extra fast. I'm going spastic, so I've got to do something drastic.
Qualified buyers with $5 down can drive a nicer, newer car today. Who knew $5 could get you a nicer, newer car?
Well, it can, because I'm in a jam.
Is bad credit causing you distress? My For the People credit approval process just may save the day. Get approved for a nicer, newer car you'll love. Mayday! Mayday! Get down to Prestige Auto Sales right away. The Mayday Madness ends after we've cleared 37 cars.
My name is Chris Spears, and I'm a dealer for the people.
Visit Prestige Auto Sales or call 694-1234. See you at Prestige.
Hi, it's Lisa Midget with Kinetic Motion Fitness. I'm looking forward to a fun, healthy summer, and I have a few ideas that might just help you and your friends stay in shape and have fun too. Along with awesome personal training and group classes at our warm and inviting fitness studio, we also offer fitness classes at your home or business. And if you're tired of the same old, boring cake and punch party, why not let us host a hot new health trend, a fitness party at your home or office? If you're having a hard time getting to the gym this summer, because of your crazy schedule, then work out with your friends or coworkers in a private group fitness class or host a fitness party at your home or office. We will bring you and your friends or coworkers one of our great workouts like Zumba, Pilates, Body Bar, Yoga, Tai Chi, Boot Camp, or Zumba Tonics for kids. We can even help you reach your long-term goals by meeting at your place weekly for an on-location workout. Check out our website at kmfocala.com and like us on Facebook. Kinetic Motion Fitness is located just 5 minutes from downtown Ocala near the Skylark Plaza. Kinetic Motion Fitness. We're ready when you are.
Good credits, bad credits. It's none of our business because we're not an auto dealer. We're not a bank. We're not your mother. We're OcalaForSale.com. Marion County's marketplace for cars, trucks, and SUVs. We've got thousands of sellers standing by to take your call. No middleman. But hurry, don't walk, don't run. Just sit down and log on to OcalaForSale.com. License and inventory change daily. Offer does not include dealer upcharge. Undercutting, rust-proofing, factory surcharge, or delivery fee. See website for details.
Hi, I'm Ernie Sprantz. Join me weekday mornings at 10:50 for Report to Consumers. Consumer news you can use from your hometown station. News Talk 1370, WOCA.
Relief is just an email away. It's WOCA at WOCA.com. You're listening to WOCA, Ocala.
What you do to me, oh, it's what you do to me. 1,000 miles seems pretty far, but they've got planes and trains.
We're back on Buddy Saturday Sports Page. I'm your host, Tom Schmitz, along with J.J. LaSalva. B.J. Upton.
My boy.
Played with the Tampa Bay Rays, came up in the league with the Tampa Bay Rays. Was thought to be a cancer in the Rays locker room. Was he traded or was he a free agent?
Oh, he was the biggest signing in
Right, he was
Atlanta
free
Braves
agent.
history,
Right.
yes.
He was well, I don't know if he's the biggest.
Yes,
signing
he
in
is.
Braves
Biggest
history.
contract in franchise history. 5
Well,
years, 72.
It may be the biggest contract, but I don't know if he's the biggest signing. Okay.
Money-wise.
I think the biggest signing in Braves history, free agent signing in Braves history, was a skinny kid with glasses that towed the rubber and we got him from the Chicago Cubs. I think
Gregory.
I think that may have been the biggest signing, free agent signing in the history of the Atlanta Braves when they signed Greg Maddux as a free agent.
But
B.J. Upton signed as a free agent, can't hit his weight.
He's batting 146 right now, Tom.
Yeah, and he weighs like 153.
109 points below his 7-year career mark with Tampa, which wasn't stellar to begin with.
No, it was like 240, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't very good.
But 146 is not. It's June. I was about to say it's June 1st today.
How much?
So you've been
paid?
playing for 2 months.
How much are you getting paid?
5 years, $75.25 million.
Okay, so $75 million for 5 years. So that's $15 million a year. So
the year's already a quarter of the way over.
So let's think about let's do the quick math on that. He's making $15 million a year, right?
Correct.
And if he's making $15 million a year and he's batting 149,
146.
Yeah, I want to see what he's making for his effort.
Well, what they've started to do with him is they're benching him. Finally, after 2 months of just seeing him, he hasn't had a hit in 7 games. Tom, 7 games. This is a guy that is the biggest contract in franchise history. They're scared. I thought they would be scared to bench him earlier in the season just because his brother was playing so hot, and you don't really want to mess up the mojo in a locker room.
I mean, trade him.
You
But you can't trade him
with that
it's
huge contract. Nobody's going to want that. So Freddie Gonzalez now came out to the media.
That's the Braves manager.
Yes, came out to the media yesterday and said he's considering asking center fielder B.J. Upton to work out his struggles in a minor league assignment.
That's not going to happen.
B.J. Upton has under contract something where it says he has to agree to be sent down in the minors, basically. And I don't think BJ's the type of guy that's going to swallow his pride and go down to Gwinnett or wherever.
It's the Gwinnett Braves
Yeah.
at AAA. Here's what B.J. Upton's making per point on his batting average. $102,739 per point a year right now.
That makes me sad.
You know, and it would be less if he doubles his
If he gets one hit in the next 7 games, he'll do better than he has been. You know,
he hadn't had
anything.
a hit since I think last September.
He's struggling really bad. His brother's killing it, which it's insane how much different they can be.
But let me ask you this: how much of a factor do you think it is that his brother is killing it, so he's pressing, trying to equal what his brother's doing?
I think that's a good
and
point.
that may be what's causing his struggles.
Well, he's always
it may
been
be
the
good
kind
to
of
get
guy,
him away from his brother.
He's always been the kind of guy to swing for the fences. He's a good defender, strikes out a lot, doesn't hustle. And so the Braves knew all of these things when they decided to drop this cash on him. So batting 146 is not what you expected, but I didn't expect him to be, killing the ball either.
What happens, though?
But it stinks that Jason Hayward also struggling, and Dan Uggla, who has, I think, the second biggest contract in franchise history at $60 million, is batting in the 190s.
Right. And yet the Braves are still leading
in
the
first
East.
place by 4.5 games.
Right.
Coming off a loss last night, by the way.
Yeah, lost to, even though Steven Strasburg
oblique.
Injured his oblique last night. And you collectively heard the Washington faithful go, "Oh God!"
Yeah, it's everything with him. A shoulder.
When you coil that much and throw as hard as he does, though, if you're not as big as people say, Roger Clemens did steroids. I don't know whether he did or not, but he was a big dude anyway.
Strong.
Okay, Nolan Ryan was a big dude anyway.
Strasburg's kind of lanky.
Right.
Real skinny.
The only lanky guy I ever seen be able to pitch that hard, that long, and not injure himself was Randy Johnson, and I don't know how he did it.
He was a machine.
But when you think of power pitchers,
short career.
The ones that lasted a long time, Roger Clemens and Nolan Ryan, those guys, they were big dudes. They weren't tall, lanky guys. They were mass. They had some mass to them. Roger Clemens used to show this workout. I remember when I was in college, Roger Clemens they'd say, how do you get your hand grip, your strength, and your forearm? He literally would put a 2-pound weight, in a 55-gallon bucket of rice. And he would jam his arm down in there, grab that weight, pull it out. Then jam that weight back in there, pull his arm out. Then jam his arm back into rice and pull that weight out.
Constantly.
Just constantly. He would do that for like 30 minutes a day.
Damn.
I was like, how hard can that be? So some of my fraternity brothers, we got together. We spent like $60, bought like big sacks of rice from like the restaurant distributor in Statesboro, and we put it in a 33-gallon garbage can, not even 55-gallon bucket, 33-gallon. Put a weight about halfway down in there while we were filling it up with rice. Bro, I couldn't get but about 4 or 5 inches into the rice. How hard did I jam my hand in? It would go about like that. Roger Clemens was putting his hand in there and pulling the weight out.
All day.
Yeah.
When I think power pitcher, I think somebody with the body type of Armando Benitez or something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Roberto Colon. What's
Bartolo
his name? Bartolo Colon.
By the way, he's 6-2, had a shutout win last night.
And he's 104.
Yes. And he's about 304 pounds.
The power pitchers that didn't look like power pitchers that lasted were Randy Johnson. But I'm not real sure that he was that much of a power pitcher. I just think that by the time he uncoiled,
he's so tall.
By the time he uncoiled, he was only 35 feet from the plate,
Exactly.
So it looked like he was throwing hard. And then little bitty,
and he was left-handed. Lefties are always a little bit harder.
And little bitty Pedro Martinez.
Yeah. He was one of
Pete
a kind.
could bring it.
But at the end of his career, he was not blowing it. Even like the last 6 years of his career, he was not blowing it past anybody. He totally had to change his whole style of pitching.
Pete could bring it when he was younger. But like, think about who's the hardest. Think about the Braves. One of the hardest throwers for the Braves ever.
Yankees, my daddy.
One of the hardest throwers for the Braves ever, John Smoltz, was a big dude.
Yeah.
You know, not a tall, lanky guy. So Strasburg.
And he moved to the bullpen and had to close it. The last stretch of his
Strasburg. He's a lanky dude. I think injuries are going to plague him.
Well, they already have.
It wouldn't hurt my feelings if B.J. Upton, ended up with an Achilles or something. An oblique, something. I know that's terrible to say.
I don't see B.J. Upton going to the minors.
No, he's not going to the minors.
But
a guy making $15 million a year.
But I think it's important for Freddie Gonzalez to come out to the media and to the public and let everybody know, listen, I'm telling him he needs to get to the minors. He's benched in the last 2 games, so hopefully this will... he might as well go down to Gwinnett and get at-bats instead of sitting on the bench in Atlanta.
Right,
That's the way I
because
look
sitting
at it.
on the bench and taking batting practice is not in-game.
Swallow your pride.
Yeah, that's what you need to do. I agree with you. I agree with you completely, JJ, and it hurts me that I agree with you.
I know.
You know.
Hurts me.
Speaking of someone that got hurt, bad story out of Atlanta, horrible story out of Atlanta. Former NBA All-Star guard Mookie Blaylock in critical condition at an Atlanta hospital Friday after his SUV crossed the center line and crashed head-on into a van in suburban Atlanta, killing Monica Murphy, a passenger in the van. Frank Murphy, the husband of Monica, sustained a broken ankle and was released from the hospital after undergoing treatment. Blaylock initially placed on life support in the hospital, but the Atlanta Journal-Constitution reports that Blaylock's condition has improved through the night, and he's been taken off of life support, and he's in guarded but critical condition. Do you remember Mookie Blaylock when he played? Mookie could play. That's sad story. 47 years old.
Didn't he play for the Mets?
No, Mookie Blaylock was a basketball player, NBA All-Star guard.
I'm thinking of Mookie Wilson or something.
Yeah, you were thinking Mookie Wilson. Mookie Blaylock was an All-Star guard for the. He originally played for the Warriors, and then he played for the Hawks. I remember him when he was with the Hawks. He was, I think, 91, 92 to like 2000, 99 or 2000, something like that. I know he was in the 94 All-Star game, and
at least he's not on life support anymore.
He played 13 seasons, New Jersey, Atlanta, and Golden State, averaged 13.5 points and 6.2 assists as a guard in the NBA. So, sad story out of Atlanta. Sad story. Mookie Blaylock, not on life support anymore, but still in guarded but critical condition in an Atlanta hospital after his SUV crossed the center line. And, you know, he suffered from seizures and all, so the Georgia Highway Patrol are investigating whether he may have had a seizure that made him cross the center line. So, sad story. I hope Mookie Blaylock comes through. Sorry for the loss of life, though, to the lady that lost her life. Are you kidding me? The NHL is so disrespected by everybody that last night they couldn't play a scheduled hockey game because the United Center, where
the Western Conference Finals,
the Western Conference Finals, where the Chicago Blackhawks play in the United Center, they were supposed to play the LA Kings. It was on the schedule, but the United Center said, yeah, we want the Rolling Stones instead of y'all. We want some 70-year-old rockers who haven't realized they shouldn't be on stage anymore. So the NHL, we're going to let y'all play on Saturday at 5 p.m. So instead of getting a prime-time TV audience,
when there's nothing else
when nothing else
Friday
on,
night, they got to go up against the Heat. Well, sort of.
Now they're at 5 p.m. They're going up against, this is how good the NHL is. You're competing against
nobody.
The third round of the PGA Tour.
Yeah. When Tigers
are
not
you
contention.
kidding me? The NHL is the most disrespected. How it's considered one of the 4 major sports is still amazing to me. Are you kidding me, NHL? Get a life. For JJ LaSalva, I'm Tom Schmidt saying, have a great weekend, everybody.